Representative Mike Johnson is introducing legislation to try and curb America's fentanyl crisis. Good evening, I'm Melissa Azara, in tonight for Jennifer Andrews. The legislation comes after the United States set a record with over 100,000 overdose deaths in 2021. Tyler Englander spoke to Johnson exclusively. Tyler, what does the legislation do?
Alyssa, the legislation would add fentanyl to the permanent list of dangerous Schedule I narcotics.
We have to address this crisis. Fentanyl has become a #1 killer. It's a leading cause of death, drug overdoses, for Americans aged 18 to 45.
Representative Mike Johnson says opioids are ravaging American communities. To help, he's drafted legislation to make fentanyl a permanent Schedule I narcotic. Is increasing the criminal penalty enough of a deterrent to stop them from trafficking fentanyl?
It's not. It's an important first step, but we have to get control of our border.
To do that, Johnson, the fourth highest ranking Republican in the House, has some ideas, starting with reinstating the stay in Mexico policy and changing U.S. asylum laws.
Now the word is out that, if you just claim that you have a credible fear of persecution in your home country, you can get through even the checkpoints. That's not enforced, and when we return people loose to come back for a hearing later on, given the backlog in the cases, they don't show up anyway.
Another challenge, most of the fentanyl coming into the United States is originally made in China. President Joe Biden recently imposed sanctions on Chinese drug makers, but the question is, do they go far enough? If China's not doing enough to stop the problem, should the U.S. impose sanctions on China as a whole?
Absolutely. We should do more than that. I mean, China is the #1 threat to our country right now. The two greatest threats to America, the existential threats that we have to our constitutional republic, is China and the national debt. And we have advocated for a strong stance against China. We need to send a real message. Another concern for Johnson is cartels using social media platforms like TikTok and Snapchat to sell illicit drugs. I asked Johnson if tech companies have a responsibility to boot dealers from their platform. We certainly believe that they do, and another comprehensive reform measure that will be coming forward soon is to deal with the big tech problem. Look, TikTok is owned by the Chinese government, effectively. This is the Chinese Communist Party using it as a mechanism, a subversive tool within the U.S.